and welcome to the race briefing video for the Ridgeway Challenge, which is taking place on Saturday. My name is Chris, I'm the race director. I'm going to go through all the key details in this video. Just also to say that everything that I mention in this video is also available on our website at runawayracing.com. But yeah, it's going to be a journey, it's going to be an adventure. 86 miles from Ivinghoe Beacon all the way to Avebury Manor. We kick off at 10 AM on Saturday, and you have until 2 PM on Sunday to get yourselves to the finish line. Some people are using our coach transfer service from Swindon. That's going from Swindon train station at 7 AM. Now, I've sent everyone that's on that coach a separate email with the instructions for that. If you've not received it, then please get in touch and we can send that to you directly. And then also we have some people that are using our shuttle service from either Tring train station or the Premier Inn in Tring. Again, I've sent you guys a separate email with the instructions on that. If you haven't received that, please get in touch. For everyone else who are probably arriving, getting dropped off, you're parking up at Ivinghoe Beacon car park. It's free. We are running registration from 8 AM until 9:15. We'd advise you getting there nice and early to give yourself plenty of time. There is a coffee van from 8:30 that is at the car park. So, you know, grab your registration bits and then have a coffee and wait for the start, which is say is at 10 o'clock. Great, so let's go over registration because there's a few things that are important. The first thing is you'll arrive, you'll pick up your bib, and we'll also give you a GPS tracker. If you've not used these before, we're going to tape them to your shoulder. You leave that alone for the whole event, and it allows us to track you, but also your friends and family and your crew, so they can meet you on the route and see how you're doing. Drop bags, so you can drop off 2 bags at the start. This must be done between 8 and 9:15. During that time, registration is open. The first bag is for the finish. That is going to be going to the finish and be waiting for you when you finish, and that can be a maximum of 60 litres, okay? I'll put a photo of what that looks like on the screen now. Please obviously just be respectful of that because we need to transport everyone's bags, and if everyone brings something that's too big, we wouldn't be able to fit it in the vans. The second bag that you can bring is one for checkpoint 5. That is something that is a bit smaller, can't be any bigger than 30 litres. And that is for you to have access to at checkpoint 5. So pack that full of all your nutrition and all the bits that you might want to swap into at that point. That I think is the 67k mark. Now on those drop bags, all of the bags, both the mid-race bag and the finish bag, will stay at checkpoint 5 until you have gone through checkpoint 5. So that means if you stop between the start and checkpoint 5, your bags will not have already gone to the finish. Your bags will all be at checkpoint 5. So stopping between the start and checkpoint 5, essentially you need to get yourself, or we get you to checkpoint 5 so you can get all of your gear. Once you've gone past checkpoint 5, all the bags have moved up the course to the finish, and then if you wanted to stop between 5 and the finish, then you need to go to the finish to collect all of your bags. Let's move on to following the race route. Now, the Ridgeway National Trail benefits from permanent signage throughout the whole trail, and you will see this in the form of black finger posts that have the words Ridgeway National Trail written on them, and the acorn logo. Now, the acorn represents the National Trail, so that will be on all signage that is directing you along the Ridgeway. You'll also see this in kind of small disc markers that will be on gates or on different places that will have the acorn, an arrow, and it will say Ridgeway National Trail. What we always recommend, and it is mandatory as part of your kit list, is to have the race route on your phone or your watch. There are lots of different ways that you can do this. You can go over to our website and you can download the GPX. You can look at it on OS Maps. We've got it on lots of different formats. Or if you're really struggling with that, you can go to our new Runaway Racing Live app that we've made. If you just go to app.runawayracing.com, you'll see there is a mobile optimized app version where you can see the race route on there, and you can actually locate yourself. So you can go to that map, you can say, find my location, and it will show you where you are based on the race route. You'll also on here have a shortcut to the GPS tracking link, which of course will show everyone in the race where they are and where they are in relation to the race route. And you can also on that, there's a direct link to our phone number to contact me, either to call me or to send me a WhatsApp message. There will be 2 times that you leave the Ridgeway National Trail and you follow a different route. So for these bits, you need to be changing your tactics and you'll be following the Runway Racing orange signage. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you're looking out for arrows like this and ribbon markers that look like this. These are reflective. Now you'll see these in two locations. The first is before checkpoint 8. This is at 121.6 kilometers. Instead of following the Ridgeway, you take a right-hand turn and you follow a trail down into the village of Ogbourne St George, which then leads you to checkpoint 8. That checkpoint is at 123 kilometers. You then leave that checkpoint and you have about another 1 kilometer before you rejoin the Ridgeway. That will be clearly marked, as I say, with that orange signage. Then the second location you'll see the signage is the last 3 kilometers of the race route, where again you're following the Ridgeway trail, but instead of following on to the end of where the official trail is at a place called Overton Hill, you turn right and you make your way along a trail into Avebury itself. We will have clear signage at those points, but if you have the race on your watch or your phone, those diversions are on the GPX file, so if you follow that, you will always be going in the right direction. Okay, so let's go through the mandatory kit list for the race. So you need to make sure that you're carrying all of these items for the full duration of the race. So fully charged mobile phone, certainly fully charged at the start, access to the GPX via your phone or watch. It says all via paper map. We do have paper maps that will give people at the start as well. As I say, you can use the RR Live app too. Water capacity of 1 litre at a minimum. I would suggest having 1.5, particularly if it's a warm weekend. Survival blanket or bag, so either one of those foil blankets or a survival bivvy bag. A primary light source, so a head torch. Bring a good one. You're going to be running in the dark, pretty much everyone will be, and some sort of backup light source that needs to be separate from your mobile phone. You never know if your battery's going to run out or your head torch is going to blow, so make sure you've got a backup to your main head torch. Some sort of head covering, it says, a beanie or a buff. That's for a cold weather situation. Should also add that if it's a warm weather race, that we highly recommend some sort of sun hat like this. Make sure you're out of the sun when you're on the open and exposed trail. A reusable soft cup. You need that for the checkpoints, to take Coke, to take those sorts of things. Ideally, you bring one that can have both hot and cold liquids in. We are offering tea and coffee at some of the checkpoints. We do have some cups for the tea and coffee if you don't, but obviously appreciated if you do have something that we can use. Waterproof jacket. Regardless of weather conditions, you'll need to bring a waterproof jacket. Another item of warm clothing, so it suggests a long sleeved base layer or a fleece. That's another layer essentially that you can put on. Really, that should only be used if you're going to DNF and you're going to be getting cold, so keep that in your bag at all times just for an emergency. Basic first aid supplies, plasters, tape, bandage, the kind of typical stuff that you might need if you get a blister or you cut yourself or something like that. Bring that with you. Your supply of nutrition, so make sure you pack yourself with loads of nutrition. Whack some in your CP5 drop bag as well, and then you can be topping up at our checkpoints throughout the race as well. Last thing it says is cash or bank cards. Obviously, bring something that in case you need to buy something at a shop or get a taxi or whatever it is, you can pay for it. So that's everything. Make sure you have that for the full duration of the race. Take it seriously. It's all there for your own safety, and it will make your race experience more enjoyable. Okay, so let's talk checkpoints. Now, there are 8 checkpoints on the race route. If you want to see the distances and locations of those, then head over to our website, go to the checkpoint page, and everything is detailed there. But we've been getting lots of questions coming in regards to the different supplies and things that you'll find at those checkpoints. So all of them, you'll find the kind of usual spread that you'd find at any ultra. So fluids, we're talking water, Coke, access to electrolytes. We will have some precision hydration carb mix at some checkpoints as well. That's detailed in the Runner's Guide PDF. And then food will have all the kind of usual sandwiches. I think sandwiches, most of them will have cheese, Marmite, jam, and that sort of stuff. And there will be, crisp biscuits, pretzels, jelly babies, all of that kind of stuff. Now, checkpoint 5 is your main kind of hot food point. So Mike and his team there put on jacket potatoes with a vegan chili. They also have 2 different types of pasta bake. At the other checkpoints, there's a few different options, and this is now detailed in the runner's guide. I've added a bit more detail on that. So what it says is both checkpoint 6 and checkpoint 8, you will have access to different things like pasta pots, instant oats, that sort of thing, and that's more on a kind of basic, made up on a basis if you want it. So if you get to checkpoint 8 and you fancy some oats, they'll make that up. That'll be ready in a couple of minutes for you. Checkpoint 8 will also have some soup on the go with some bread, and they'll also have a toaster, and they can do toast for you at checkpoint 8. So that's your last one before you get to the finish. Checkpoint 6 does have some hot water, and again, they'll have access to some instant oats, instant pasta pots. And hot water will be at checkpoint 3, checkpoint 5, checkpoint 6, 7 and 8, and there will be tea and coffee available where there is hot water. So that's what we've detailed in the runner's guide now, so that is all there. Make your plans accordingly. Obviously carry lots of nutrition with you from the start. Top up your nutrition supplies at checkpoint 5 in your mid-race drop bag. Take advantage of that hot food at checkpoint 5, and then as you go further down the course there will be some different things available, and we're going to be doing everything we can to keep you fueled throughout the race. A big thank you to Precision Fuel and Hydration. We're going to have their chews and their gels, loads of them at all the checkpoints, electrolyte mix, and as I said, some of the carb drink as well. So yeah, massive thanks to them. Definitely the best fuel in the business. Okay, moving on to crewing and pacing. So crewing is permitted at the race. Now, outside of the checkpoints, this can be done anywhere you wish on the race route. However, at the checkpoints, this is only permitted at 3 places. That is checkpoint 2 at Whiteleaf. Note that there is a height restriction there, so that would only allow cars. Checkpoint 6 at West Ilsley, and checkpoint 7 at Uffington. No, at checkpoint 7 you would need to park at the White Horse Hill car park, and then you walk down to the checkpoint itself. There are lots of other locations outside of these checkpoints that is fantastic for crewing. Lots of little lay-bys, car parks you can park up in. We're not going to recommend specific points because we don't want to overwhelm certain locations, but have a look at the Google Maps and you will see plenty of places that are very suitable for meeting your runner. And of course you can give the GPS tracking link to your crew so that they know where you are. So for pacing, now pacing is not permitted at the race, but what we are allowing is runners who do not feel safe running alone at night, we are allowing you to have someone accompany you for the sole purpose of your safety during the hours of darkness. Now, there's 2 stipulations on this. The first is that we need to be aware of that, so please let us know if you're planning to use that so we can note that down. And the second is that because that does go against the UK Athletics rules on pacing, you will not be eligible for any podium or age category awards if you do use that, okay? So it is there, it's designed solely for runners who don't feel comfortable running at night, to have someone with them. It's not designed to help you finish well, finish fast, and get on that podium, okay? So, yeah, if you're hoping to use that, that's absolutely fine, but you do need to let us know. Send me an email, or you can talk to me at the start of the race on Saturday. The forbidden word, the DNF. So just to cover the kind of protocol, what we'll do, the arrangements if you don't finish the race. If that happens between the start and checkpoint 5, you will need to either take our minibus to checkpoint 5 or get your crew to take you to checkpoint 5 in order to pick up your drop bags, and you will need to return your GPS tracker. If you need to stop between checkpoint 5 and the finish, your bags will have already moved to the finish, and therefore we will either transport you to the finish or your crew will need to take you to the finish in order to gather those items. Worth saying as well that there are cut-offs at all of the checkpoints, so you have to leave each checkpoint by the cut-off time in order to be allowed to continue. If you miss that cut-off time, then our minibus will drive you either, depending where it is, either to checkpoint 5 or to the finish, so you can pick up your items. So yeah, if you're one of those people that are going to be battling those times, please make a note of them and work as hard as you can to get ahead of them, particularly early on in the course, to give you some more time as you get a little bit tireder towards the end of the race. Finish itself is at Avebury National Trust Estate. Now, friends, family, people that are picking you up, they can park in the main National Trust car park, and that will be open outside of normal National Trust opening hours. It is a couple of minute walk from the car park over to where the finish is. As you, as a runner, come to the finish, you will find everything you need at the finish line. There will be all the bags will be there. There will be some post-runner food available, and you can relax and enjoy yourself. If you're finishing on the Sunday after 10 a.m, National Trust will be open. There's a nice cafe on site, and it should be pretty buzzy with lots of visitors there. If you're finishing the early hours of the morning, just be a bit respectful that there are residents that live within earshot of the finish, so not to be whooping and screaming too much as runners finish in those sort of nighttime hours. Now, we do have a second location at the finish, which is at the Avebury Sports and Social Club. This is an indoor area that we're using as a waiting area if you're waiting for your onwards travel. Either you're using our shuttle to the finish, or you're waiting for your friend or family to come pick you up. And this is also an area that you can get your head down for a couple of hours if you need. It is just a hall, so it's not going to be luxury, but we will have some camp beds or chairs that you can lie down on, and you can get your eyes shut for a couple of hours and try and recoup yourself before you make your move onwards. Now, just another note on those shuttles. So we are periodically going to be doing shuttles for finishers to Swindon. I know a fair amount of people would like that to be done. There isn't a specific timetable for that. It will be based on the availability of our minibus and the amount of runners that are waiting to go. And we will obviously try and do that as quickly as possible, particularly at busier times, throughout. From about 6 a.m. onwards, there will be lots more people finishing, and it will become a little bit more regular. And then after 9 o'clock, although we will still be offering that service, it is worth noting that there is an hourly bus that only takes 25 minutes direct into the centre of Swindon as well, that's right next to the finish line. So if you end up going, we're waiting a while for the minibus to arrive, then potentially that bus is also a really good option for you. Okay, so welcome to the Q&A section. So this is just answering some questions that have been sent in to us via the questionnaire that we sent to you. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of these we've already covered, but I'll go through them all. So how frequently will the shuttle service go to Swindon? As regularly as we can reasonably do that. Our minibus driver is sort of to and fro between the checkpoints. He'll be there at the cut-off times for each checkpoint, then going back to the finish, then going on to Swindon, and kind of repeating that process. There is, as I say, the Avebury Sports and Social Club you can rest in while you're waiting for that. Hot food at CP5, a few people have asked that, so just to reiterate, so that is the jacket potatoes with a chilli and 2 different pasta bakes, and there will be a few other bits and pieces, particularly checkpoint 8, there'll be some soup and bread and some toast if you need it before going on to the finish. Can you clarify max size of the drop bag? So 60 litres for the finish bag and 30 litres for the mid bag. Drop bags, what time do these get taken to the finish? So your bags will only get taken to the finish once you have been through CP5. They will remain at CP5 until you arrive there and that you have left. Blankets at CP5 in case of a DNF. No, there are no blankets at CP5, but it is an indoor location that will be warm. All your drop bags will be there, so presumably you will have a jumper, a fleece, or something that you can put on from your drop bag. If there were suggested places for crew to base themselves, that would be helpful. I'm not going to recommend specific locations, but if you look at the route on Google Maps, we have the race route on Google Maps linked on our website. Just zoom in satellite view and you'll see where the little car parks are dotted around. That's the best place. That's the best way to do it, I'd say. I assume if I retire, I'll need to get to the finish to pick up my bag. Yes, but depends where you retire. If you retire before checkpoint 5, you only need to go to checkpoint 5. If you retire after checkpoint 5, yes, you do need to go to the finish. Do I have to go into every checkpoint? Yes, we would like you to go into every checkpoint. Then our teams can know that you have passed successfully. Even if you're not taking anything, just go in, say hello, check in with the marshal, and then leave. That's great. Will the diversions off the Ridgeway be marked, i.e. to Ogbourne St George? And will the aid stations have precision gels and chews? So yes, the diversions will be clearly marked with our orange signage. Yes, there will be plenty of gels and chews. Can we start earlier than 10? No, you can't. I'm sorry. How many gels and chews will be available at the aid station? A big box is being sent to every aid station. I would assume that that is plenty for everyone, unless everyone suddenly starts taking 5 each. But yeah, we always have gels left over, based on what provisions we've provided before. And is there a shower at the finish? Yeah, unfortunately, no, there is no showers at the finish. So the Avebury Sports and Social Club, they do have 7 individually locking toilets with wash basins, so you can use that to get changed in, but no, there are no showers. There we go, that concludes the Q&A section of this video. Alright, so that is everything that I wanted to go through. Thanks so much for listening along. It's really, really appreciated. We are so looking forward to welcoming you to the start of the race at Ivanhoe Beacon. We're going to let you off 10 AM Saturday morning and the adventure then begins. So guys, have a good couple of days, rest up, get some sleep, eat well, and we will see you on Saturday morning.